Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cade Stone, coming back to you with another episode of Banished, Colonial Charter. As we all remember last time, it was a pretty peaceful episode. We only had one person die, and that was from old age. So if we take a look at the cemetery here, we only have 30 of the 42 graves used. So I call that last episode a success. And if you do like this series, remember folks, please like the video, put a comment below just what you like to see. If you want to see me do anything else in here, let me know. And if you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. Now, as we finished up the last episode, we did finish the Waterwheel Sawmill. And with that, we were able to actually start demolishing the woodcutter, because the sawmill can do the same exact thing. So we can set this over to firewood if we need some. It looks like we only have 198 stored logs. For firewood, we have 230, so that's already past our fuel limit. So I'm going to put this back on the lumber. But this building right here is going to be able to do a lot of things that we want it to do. Now, a couple of episodes ago, we did start building this forest cluster. We cleared everything out here, and it looks like we did just have one of our fishermen die of old age. So we should be at 31 now. Yes. But we started building this forest cluster, and we put a couple of houses over here. And this forester's lodge, which we do finally have fully stocked with workers, is doing a fantastic job at building this, allowing us to work the gatherer's hut. And you'll see right here that they are pulling in just a massive amount of food. So our food issues really have become a thing of the past. So I'm going to actually bump up our food limit to, let's say 7,000 for right now. Just because I want this field to finish. And after the field finishes, then we're going to be tearing down the farm field. And we'll use this for something else. We do have some houses which are being upgraded right now from wood to stone. So as soon as this one's done, instead of upgrading a wooden house, I think we're just going to build a couple of houses over here in this district. Let's see, for stone we only have 66 though. So that is definitely going to hold us back a little bit. So what I'm going to do to take care of that is I'm going to set a collect stone order over here. And we're going to need a lot of stone. So we'll just set our workers to take care of that. Now we are above the log limit, which is absolutely fine by me. If we're hitting those limits, that's definitely showing me that we are doing something right. For iron, it looks like, yeah, we've hit the limit on that as well. We don't have as much furnace fuel to hit the limit. I'm going to leave that be for now. And then over here, we have dipped down to 49 stored tools, but we have a blacksmith working. Well, we do now. Well, we should, at least. I wonder where they are. Oh, I have to turn the blacksmith back on. My bad. Okay, so we have one person who doesn't have a job, and they are currently acting as a laborer until they finish up what they were doing. And right now we had yet another person die of old age. Unfortunately, we don't have any laborers left. But we do have this farm, which we're only in autumn, and we're well below freezing right now. We're at 26 degrees Fahrenheit. For any of you who don't live in America with our arbitrary system, 32 is the freezing point. Okay, and there we go. We'll turn off work, and then we will set a deconstruct order, and the farm immediately goes away. So let's go ahead and pause the game here and just figure out what we want to do. Well, the first thing we want to do is take the 4 farmers. If I can find them in here. 2 fishermen. Farmers, all right at the top. And we'll move them all over into the labor profession for the time being. So we should have some labor being completed. Now, one thing we could absolutely do here is just build a couple of houses, which I think that's exactly what we're going to do. So let's take a look and see what exactly it is that we can do here. Do we have any lumber created? Yeah, they've created a lot of lumber. So let's take a look at some of these new houses. I was really excited about the row houses before. So I think that is what we're going to go with if we can figure out exactly how to get all of the supplies that we need. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to take for the journeyman house, though. Okay, so this does provide the same warmth as a stone home. Looks like it's the same price. Let's see, 35 and 40. Yeah, it's the same price. So let's go ahead and just grab this. And we're going to rotate that. And these houses will just have a nice look of the woods. So we'll let these be constructed. There's nothing needing to be removed here because we did just have the farm there. But if we get some more houses available, and I need to actually pull the work orders back up. There we go. If we have more houses, then we can continue to grow our population. And with the food, we're already almost at cap yet again. What does he have? Hemp and flax. And do we actually need these? No. But I'll buy one of each, just so we have that in our records that we have got these before. There we go. I'll just dismiss him. One thing we do need at some point is we definitely need a trader to come in who has something that's not just absolute garbage. Now, are we going to be able to upgrade these houses into row houses, possibly? No, just nice country homes and fancy country homes. And regular, it seems. But with the way that I'm wanting this to look over here, the row houses are definitely what we're going to want. And so you'll see right here, we already have all the logs transported here. We don't have quite enough stone, but with the number of laborers I had set up to just collect all this stone over here, we should be getting that in short order. Now our tools have almost reached cap again. And it looks like, unfortunately, we are out of firewood. So let's go ahead and switch that over. We have one home here that doesn't have any, and we have in this house a gatherer and a student. And I don't want that student to die. So let's make sure that we get our woodcutter to definitely start cutting some firewood, just so that we'll have exactly what we need. And yeah, you see there that we put in that order and the firewood was created almost immediately. So it should be delivered, and these people should start bringing that into their houses. I think it goes here first. Is there any way I can knock the firewood out of this? It doesn't appear so. Okay, and I think that was this student here. Yeah, that student in this house just grew up and became a laborer. We want more laborers working right now, just so we can complete everything that we were wanting done. And our reserve of stone is low, as I said before. They'll get to it eventually. We have 6 laborers working at the moment. And what they're going to do is, well, we're going to have 5 because I'm putting one back in the church. But what the laborers are going to do is they are going to be the ones who carry everything around that we need. And it's early spring now, so I think the fear of death from freezing is over. But we'll go ahead and let them just do what they're going to do for a little bit. Now, we are going to create quite a bit of firewood in here. We worked most of the previous season just on lumber, but we'll get the firewood going to get these houses. Yeah, you can see here that they have, well, they don't have any in here right now, but they got enough to just start working that a little bit. We have 17 lumber stored here. Is it all in here? There's 8. So it looks like our lumber is just spread out all over the place. At least I hope it is. I don't remember using it on anything. But the new houses are going to mean new babies, which will eventually grow our population of adults. Now, what do you have over in here? A lot of stuff. Okay, so this time I think we need to start building something new. Now we have another house over here that does have no firewood. So we're just going to have to let the firewood just continue to work for a while. So what are some new services that we could get going for our people? Now we already have this small chapel here, and it cannot be upgraded. That's fine. We'll just do something else with it. But what do we have in this area? Now the gazebo is completely decorative according to this. We already have a school. Do we have the ability to get a town hall that doesn't require... No, that all takes a lot of different stuff. The town arrival only takes a few logs, it seems. It does not encourage nomads or provide happiness. It just records and shows census data. We can pass on that for the time being. We already have a well. What do these have a range? No, it doesn't appear so. Okay, so what do we have over in here? We've got a hospital and a city hospital. I think a hospital right here in the middle of town would not go amiss. So our people, whenever they get sick, will be able to go to the hospital. And we'll just line that up right on the road. Now, we are using dirt roads. We have not much stone yet, though. So we'll upgrade the dirt roads eventually. But for the time being, that's just what we're going to have to use. Now, talking about stone, I think we need to figure out a quarry. So let's take a look in here. I know that there are quarries available somewhere. There's one. And there's a smaller one. Okay, so the big difference here in a small quarry and a large quarry, looks like the small quarry takes a little bit less resources. 10 less logs, 10 less... Oh. We're going with the small one to start off with, which is actually still quite large. But we'll set this up. Do I want to set it here, or do I want it to be off on its own? That really looks like that would be something completely ugly to start off the view of our town. And we don't want to get into either one of these forest clusters, so I think it's going to go down here. And what we'll do, we'll hide it behind this little hill. So the people going to church will be able to hear it whenever it's in operation during that time. But, let's see, there's the edge right there. And it looks like that lines up. Yes. Okay, we have the road placed. Now, they are going to have to remove a lot of stuff. There are 32 things to be removed. I'm pretty sure we already do have the lumber. And the logs. Yeah, we've got 244 logs, so that shouldn't be an issue. Now, how are we doing up here? Can we increase this to 2 people working this? I want to increase the amount of firewood that we're getting because we're already in mid-spring and I don't want to run into an issue where we don't have any firewood at all for any of our people going into the next winter. I mean, it's only basically 60 degrees right now, so that's pretty comfortable. That's what it's been in my area lately. Now today, it's going crazy because today I think it's dropped down into the 30s, maybe the 20s. I haven't actually checked the temperature, but I saw snow earlier, and this is the second or third time I've seen snow all season. So it's actually been a pretty good day for me. I love the wintertime. I love the snow. Okay, and we have 6 laborers at the moment, so they are already removing a bunch of the stuff from here. Are we doing anything with this lumber? There's 27 and 8, so that's 35, and then another 6. Where's the rest of this lumber that they said they created? Because the artisan houses don't take it. Is it in... No, I'm not seeing any in here either. Oh, that's a citizen. Okay, so yeah, 2 people working this absolutely works. Can I move this up to 3? It looks like 3 is the maximum. Okay, so I'm going to have them create a few more pieces of lumber. Yeah, it says we had 81 lumber created last season, so I don't know... Oh, it went into the hospital, so yes, we did actually use something that used lumber. So we do need a little bit more created just to be able to finish up this quarry down here. But as you can see, having 5 laborers, 6 sometimes, really does make things go very fast. Already at 26 of 32 removed. And if we just take a quick look down here, they just have to pick up the items and then start delivering the resources. So we'll be absolutely fine there. Okay, 13 lumber created. That should put us above what we needed. So I'm going to switch this back to firewood until we get to the point that this is showing that we're at our resource cap. Now, the amount of clothing we have stored is also starting to dwindle. So I'm going to put 1 person back on tailoring duty. We have 4 laborers left. I'm going to bring it down to 2 laborers so we can get 1 person working here and 1 person working here. So 1 will be digging clay, the other will be gathering sand. With the clay, we're going to be able to create bricks. And with the sand, we're going to be able to create glass. Okay, so we're only in late spring at this point. Of course, we are running as normal at 5 times speed. But do we have everything we need here? We already have all the logs, so we're just waiting for the rest of the resources to be brought down before this will be built. And then it looks like the hospital here... We're waiting on something else in here, just the builder. So where is our builder? Picking up resources. Okay, why aren't you just over here building? The construction is not paused. Oh, we're waiting on stone. Okay. So as stone is mined, it will be delivered, and then the building will be able to be completed. Okay, we have all the lumber here that we need for our quarry. And since this doesn't have all the resources it needs, this will probably be constructed first. But we do only have 4 students at the moment, so we're not going to be bringing in many more adults for a long time. The children have to work until they're 16, just growing up, until they're able to go get jobs. And that tells me that we probably need a few more houses. So we'll let this complete. I wonder if we can stick another one of those artisan houses. This one. Are we going to have any room in between? And the answer there is no. So putting the hospital here may have not have been a good idea. Or we could just have this strip as like a central park just for this little area of town. Find something to do with it. Okay, and our food situation looks like it is going swimmingly. How much leather is this place creating? Looks like 14 this season, last season 14. Looks like each season they brought in 400 venison, so I'm assuming that's like 4 deer. But yes, our clusters are going very well. And we have 3 laborers at this time, so I'm going to bring one up here to become an herbalist. And then over here, the food limit is 7,000. What are we waiting? Oh, that's here, the production limit. Okay. So we only need 50, well, 48 now, more build points, and then that will be complete. And then we'll have a source of stone that will just start going over time. We don't have to manually set ourselves this order to start collecting all the stone over here. Speaking of which, how are we doing on that? We need 13 more there. And I think that's the only build order that we have going. So after we get that built, then we'll be able to go back to building houses. Now we opened up this side of the map last time. The reason I did that was to get over here, to get to the resources. That'll also give us a nice little town that spans both sides of the river. How are our fishermen doing? We cut down to 2 last time. They've only brought in 188 so far this season. Let's see, this is finally completed. So we do have the ability to upgrade this to a deep small quarry eventually. Right now we don't have the workers to actually work this, so we're just going to let this sit empty for the time being. And that should just be a notification that our stone is low. We know the stone is low. We only need 2 more though to complete the hospital. We need more children growing up into students though. I want to see the number of students pretty much equal with the number of children at all times, if not just a little bit higher. God, that would be horrible. Look out your front door and there's just trees. You know, right across the little pathway. It's not even a full-size road. You know, it's not 14 feet from one side to the other. Looking at this, you can see it's barely wide enough for one person to walk on. So you're looking at maybe 3.5 feet from here to there. These trees are basically touching these people's houses almost. So the view from the front is atrocious. Now the back, that's not so bad. You know, you'll eventually get a view of just the back of the hospital, but you can actually see something back here. You know, you've got this nice wide open area around the back of the house. Now the next question is, do I give them back gardens? No, I don't think I'm going to. But it looks like our hospital is beginning to be constructed. So we already had our trader this year. They didn't bring anything worthwhile. We've got stone houses over here. Now whenever this gets up to 40, I think I'm going to upgrade this into a stone home. Yeah, we'll just go into a stone home whenever we get to 40, and every time we hit 40 after that, we'll just start upgrading one of these houses. we'll build one and then we'll upgrade and we'll alternate like that. Because we definitely want to get more room for people. The reason for getting the stone houses is they are more insulated than the wood houses are. I think I read that it is 4 times more efficient to have a stone home than it is to have a wooden home in Banished. God, look at Anningsley right here. 72 years old, out in the woods every day, just gathering. And that's a trooper right there. I'm just taking a quick look here through all the homes, seeing who we've got where. Yeah, and one thing I am noticing, we definitely have an aging population. And that's not a bad thing in a first world situation. You know, if you look at America or many of the other first world countries out there, you have aging populations. That's just the way it goes. People live longer. But in a situation like this where our whole economy and just our way of survival is barely hanging on a razor's edge, you want a definite mix all the way through. And it looks like all of our adults are actually getting pretty well up there at this point. I don't know what era this is set in. By the look of everything, pre-Colonial Charter, I'm saying maybe the 1700s. And what was life expectancy like back then? So... So let's see, we have our hospital, which is almost complete. We need more adults, though. We need more of these students just to grow up, finish their studies, so they're not completely worthless, and then get to work. Okay, now looking at this, it looks like there's a miscellaneous on both of these. And I was wondering where the salt was coming from before, and it looks like we have more salt now than we did. So I'm thinking it is probably coming from our shore houses. While they're digging the sand, while they're digging up the clay, they're probably just finding stuff. And you can make construction materials in here, which I'm assuming is the logs and the hardwood. So there is a split limit on this. Of course, you know, you're making 2 different products. But yeah, but with the logs and the hardwood, they are both just making lumber. So now we're barely keeping up with the firewood demand, but as of right now, I'm not seeing any houses that are actually hurting for it. You'll see that we only have 3 stored up, and that'll probably go away rather quickly. And we're back up to 2 laborers. I'm going to move 1 into the hospital because we did just have someone grow up and become a laborer back in the summer. But we never want to be without at least 1 laborer, just to take over somebody's job if they die, or to do what laborers do. So our stone reserve has grown to 35 at this point. So I think that is almost close enough to start work on another house. Are they still out here? Yes, they're still out here collecting that stone. So I'm going to set up yet another artisan house, which I believe is this one. Yes, it is. And we're just going to put that right in row with the rest of these. And you'll probably be wondering, it's like, well, why does Cade like these row houses so much? Well, it's a pretty simple answer. I just like the way they look. You know, whenever you have all these row houses set up just side by side, you know, if you look at, like, in New York, if you look at the brownstones, I think it's just a fantastic construction ideas. Now, I know a lot of them are old, dilapidated throughout the world. I'm not picking on New York specifically. But whenever the row house idea was around, you know, a lot of them are just old and dilapidated. With a little bit of work, they can become something fantastic. And they were like the Mick houses. You know, it was easy. Just put the same thing up over and over again and give these people some place to live. Okay, and there we go. We have got all the resources brought here. That we had enough stone by the time that they got that moved over. We're starting to get some some of the building completed here in just a moment as soon as our builder gets there. And let's find out, where are they? Okay, so she's just walking through the woods. She was probably out collecting some of that stone. Had to finish up that order. Now our builder is 68 years old. So odds are before too long we probably will need a new person to take over for that. I mean, 68 years old and out doing manual labor. I don't know about you, but I'd want to retire at some point. But our people don't get that luxury. They work until they die. So we're at 70% complete. That should be done here in just a moment. 25. Okay, I think the graves actually deteriorate over time. Because it looks like we're down to 25. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think we got up to 31 during this episode. So either we have a grave robber, which we might. I don't know if that's in here, but if it's not, it needs to be. Or they just did. There we go, another one just disappeared. So it looks like, yeah, they absolutely do deteriorate over time. And right now we are in the middle of losing people who died during the massive starvation die-off. So this should be pretty clean before too long at all. But it looks like we are just about to go into spring. And as soon as that happens, then we'll have this artisan house up and running. As soon as our builder gets done. Now the only thing I am a little reticent about building this last one for is we are still just riding right there on the edge of needing more firewood. Okay, and there we go. We have a merchant. They're bringing clay and hardwood. Now we have clay. We don't, however, have hardwood. So I'm going to grab one of these. Just to say that we did. And these things should be sitting right here in the inventory. Like right there. We have the one hardwood here. And there's our row house, and it looks like Anningsley moved in there. Folks, it looks like our colony is progressing rather well. We haven't had anybody die since early winter, and that was just of old age. So, completely unavoidable things. Will the colony survive much longer? I really hope so, but that's something we're going to have to find out in the next episode.